Feud between It Ends With Us stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is now threatening to pull in Taylor Swift. After her name surfaced in court documents, Baldoni's lawyer says he could depose the star singer. And now a new $7 million lawsuit's been filed, this time against Lively.
On my part, one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail.
Through text messages, videos, screenshots, the director of It Ends With Us says he can prove that he didn't harass the actress, and he didn't try to...
Oh wow, things are turning chaotic for Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni and his legal team have some strong words for her. They're basically accusing her of lying after Blake filed a lawsuit, claiming Justin harassed her and acted inappropriately. He and his team responded within 48 hours, denying everything and saying they have proof to back it up since Justin took legal steps against Blake, and her claims it's been set back after setback for her Ryan Reynolds and everyone involved in the situation. Now Justin is revealing text messages and behind-the-scenes footage, and according to his lawyers, this is just the beginning.
Time progressed in this film. She decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as...
For those who haven't kept up with the chaos, things are spiraling fast. Justin Baldoni, along with Jimmy Heath Wayfair Studios and his publicist, initially sued the New York Times, the outlet that first published Blake Lively's claims. But that was just the beginning. In the second lawsuit, Justin directly targeted Blake and Ryan Reynolds. And this is where the Game of Thrones comparisons, Taylor Swift drama, and some highly questionable text messages come into play. Justin's first lawsuit argues that the New York Times collaborated with Blake to distort the story, selectively using evidence while omitting key details to damage his and his associates' reputations. According to Justin, when the New York Times reached out before publishing, he and his team denied Blake's claims, but the article was still released. Justin even claims the Times rushed to publish the piece 2 hours early as part of a larger effort to control the story.
Are you saying that they got changed copies of the communications, or that they changed the communications to remove emojis? Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that?
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists and engaging in this campaign.
And when it comes to Blake, instead of directly suing anyone at first, she filed a right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, which let her bypass the discovery process and keep things private. But now that everything is out in the open, Justin's team claims her real intention wasn't a lawsuit, but to boost her credibility. One of Blake's strongest accusations was that Justin and his team used their media connections to spread negative press about her. She even shared text messages that seemed to support this, but Justin's team fired back, saying she altered those messages to make it look like a full-scale smear campaign was happening. They released their own proof, showing internal discussions where Justin's team was actually worried about Blake's PR team planting fake positive stories about her. In one message, Justin asks, "How can we prove we aren't doing this? This looks bad." His team reassures him that Blake's team is behind it, and another PR rep downplays the situation, saying people are just reacting to Blake's own actions. Justin's lawsuit also claims Blake edited messages to fit her story. For example, she shared a text where someone sent an article titled, "Could Blake Lively be cancelled?" and a team member responded, "Wow, you outdid yourself with this." But Justin's team insists she removed emojis and sarcasm to make it look serious, when it was actually a joke. At one point, Justin sent his PR rep Melissa a TikTok from Perez Hilton, where he claimed someone from Justin's team told him to post negative content about Blake. Justin immediately asked, "This is not us, right?" Melissa shut it down, saying none of us would ever do this. She dismissed Perez as a troll and assured Justin that no legitimate outlet would take him seriously. Another text exchange shows Justin's team sharing articles about Blake's past controversies, but Melissa insists they had no involvement. She tells Justin, once the media goes in, they go in, basically suggesting the backlash wasn't orchestrated, but just the internet digging up old drama on its own. She even adds Blake handed it to them on a plate. One of the biggest blows to Blake's case is a conversation between her own publicist Leslie Sloan and a Daily Mail reporter named James Leslie insists I'm not paid to take people down. I'm honest, James replies. Melissa hasn't done anything against Blake. She told me the same thing she told you, that the backlash was organic. But Leslie pushes back, saying it's not James, then reveals he didn't hear anything about Blake's claims until much later. He says in multiple conversations with Leslie, she never once mentioned Blake's accusations against Justin. He even suggests Leslie has a history of misleading reporters, giving them information only to later deny it. When her clients react negatively, Blake's lawsuit also accused Justin's PR team of celebrating after blocking HR complaints on set. Many assumed this was about misconduct claims, but Justin's team countered that by revealing an email from TMZ. In the email, TMZ asks if at least 3 HR complaints were filed against Justin, but the key detail, those complaints were about workplace conflicts, not misconduct. A TMZ reporter even told Melissa that their sources on set saw Justin as a nice guy. The real issue, according to insiders, was Blake's huge ego. Melissa later messages TMZ saying Blake Lively's team keeps thinking we're the ones placing stories, but we're not. The TMZ reporter responds with something even more cryptic. Wait till I tell you the whole story. You think you know, but you don't. In my entire career, I've never seen something like this. Blake's lawsuit also alleged that Jamie Kay once showed her a video she thought was adult content, but it turned out to be a recording of his wife giving birth. She described the experience as disturbing, but Jamie defended himself, saying there was nothing inappropriate about it. It was just a personal moment. They even shared a still from the video to push back against the accusations. The New York Times backed Blake's claim that both Jamie and Justin repeatedly entered her trailer uninvited while she was undressed, even when she was breastfeeding. But Justin's lawsuit tells a different story. Blake was actually the one inviting him. In a text from Blake to Justin reads, "I'm just pumping in my trailer. If you want to work on our lines." Justin responds, "Copy, eating with the crew, and we'll head that way." This contradicts Blake's version and suggests missing context in her claims. Blake also accused Justin of objectifying her by wanting to make her character look sexier, but Justin's lawsuit includes texts where Blake herself expressed a desire to enhance the character's look. In one message, she even describes an outfit as much sexier and says, "As a girl, I'd check that out walking down the street." Another major point in Blake's lawsuit was her claim that Justin forced unwanted kissing scenes and frequently discussed his personal life. But Justin's response, he says, Blake deliberately left out that she refused to meet with the film's intimacy coordinator, which forced him to handle those discussions alone and relay the coordinator's notes to her. Despite not wanting to, they eventually worked on the intimate scenes together. Without the coordinator, Justin argues that their conversations were about character development, not inappropriate topics. As Blake suggested to support this, he shared a message with a producer explaining that Blake refused to meet the coordinator early on, which could disrupt production. Blake's lawsuit also mentioned a behind-the-scenes moment where Justin allegedly put his lips near her neck and commented on her scent, even though the scene was a silent montage. But Justin's team released footage proving the moment wasn't as one-sided as she claimed.
I know. And my nose is so big.
I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then,
As you can see, Blake wasn't just acting in these scenes. She was heavily involved in directing them. The video shows Blake and Justin laughing and discussing how to approach the scene. Justin jokes about getting his beard on her, and Blake laughs, saying she's probably getting her spray tan on him. When Justin mentions it smells good, she casually responds, "It's my body makeup." It was a light-hearted and professional exchange, nothing like the uncomfortable moment. Blake described the lawsuit, then shifts focus to control over the movie. Justin claims Blake is running a smear campaign against him because she was exposed for taking over the film. Justin's company, Wayfarer Studios, secured the rights to the novel in partnership with Sony. But despite being the director, he lost creative control to Blake, who was given a producing credit. Justin's lawsuit reveals a surprising detail. Sony allegedly sided with Blake, so much that even the film editors weren't allowed to review her version of the cut. In a text conversation, Justin asked his editors if they had seen her edits. Their response, "We are not permitted to look." Justin was shocked the editors and director aren't allowed to see an actress's cut. Got it later, he told his team he had no choice but to accept her demands for the sake of the film. To make things even more complicated, Blake reportedly pushed Justin out of the movie's promotional events to ensure her version of the film was the one that got the spotlight. And if you thought Blake was done stirring the drama, think again. She and Ryan Reynolds have been subtly shading Justin for a while now, trolling him in ways that most people wouldn't even notice. But when you connect the dots, it all starts to make sense. Turns out Ryan wasn't just being a supportive husband, he reportedly played a role in rewriting the script. One cast member even confirmed that Ryan altered multiple scenes and made major changes, something almost no other actor would be allowed to do. But because Blake was involved, the usual rules didn't apply.
Hold on, you guys have to see this.
Ryan's here tonight. What is it like for the both of you to be promoting major motion pictures at the same time?
Oh my gosh, it's just so thrilling in our house right now. We help each other. We work together so much. The iconic rooftop scene in this movie, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you now. But
he wrote the
it.
rooftop
he works
scene.
on everything I do. I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his. I mean, he's all over this film.
And you, Jack.
From the beginning, Blake and Ryan were constantly altering lines, reworking scenes daily, and creating tension on set. Blake knew exactly how to handle Justin. She praised him endlessly, calling him one of the best directors she had ever worked with. She claimed other directors had always dismissed her ideas, never allowing her to contribute, and Justin, wanting to be fair, gave her creative freedom. But that decision would come back to haunt him when she ended up rewriting a crucial rooftop scene, triggering a chain reaction that changed everything.
Will you please get down from there?
I'm good, thanks.
According to Baldoni and his legal team, Blake made sure to highlight that Ryan and Taylor Swift absolutely loved her version of the scene and couldn't wait to see Justin's reaction. But she didn't stop there. She even invited Justin to her penthouse, where Ryan and Taylor hyped up her writing, convincing Justin that it had to stay in the film. Afterward, Justin texted her praising her talent and assuring her that he'd try to incorporate some of her ideas into the final cut. This is where the Game of Thrones references began. In one of their messages, Blake even compared herself to Khaleesi, saying she had dragons on her side, aka Taylor and Ryan Reynolds, who would support her no matter what. She wasn't just name-dropping. Blake was making it clear that she had serious influence in both the film and music industries, proving that she held the upper hand. But Blake didn't just want one scene rewrite, she wanted control over the entire script. Justin, trying to keep the peace, let her make changes daily, hoping to avoid conflict. But as time went on, the rewrites became more frequent and Blake started challenging every single directing decision, adding even more tension behind the scenes.
With, the brilliance of Blake Lively. I don't think people realize how involved she was in this movie. She was extremely involved and she really made the film better. And especially when it came to intimacy and all of that, she had a very clear vision, and she was telling me what she thought would work and what she...
Before filming even began, drama was already brewing. Allegedly, Justin made a comment about Blake's weight, and just like that, boom, accusations of fat shaming exploded. But here's the real story. Justin wasn't making any shady remarks. He had simply asked her trainer about her weight because he had a scene where he needed to lift her, and with his back issues, he just wanted to make sure it was safe. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, the conversation didn't stay private for long. Blake was not having it, she told Ryan. And the next thing you know, Ryan stormed into their penthouse, ready to go full Deadpool on Justin. He accused him of body shaming Blake. And from there, things spiraled. But Blake wasn't done yet. She reportedly threatened to walk off the project unless Justin played by her rules. And if he didn't, she made it very clear that she'd go public with accusations that he fat-shamed her. At this point, Justin was stuck between a rock and a PR nightmare. He had no way out without risking his entire reputation. Meanwhile, Blake had successfully turned Ryan against him, getting him so riled up that even though Justin had done nothing wrong, he still found himself apologizing just to keep the peace. But was that the end of the tension? Of course not. The production moved forward, but behind the scenes, it was anything but smooth. Blake, despite later claiming that Justin had harassed her during the first month of filming, was still texting him constantly, And here's where things get really weird. She kept asking for daily footage of the film. If she felt truly harassed, why was she so eager to stay in constant communication and see what was being filmed? Even more bizarre, her messages were full of praise, complimenting the clips, and even asking for more. And here's the thing, the leaked footage from the film tells an entirely different story from what Blake is claiming in her lawsuit. In the lawsuit, she accused Justin of being inappropriate by allegedly kissing her neck, sniffing her, and telling her she smelled good. Sounds like a lot of accusations, right? But when you actually watch the raw footage, it's clear that the entire scene was taken completely out of context.